Welcome back to Unfiltered Makeup. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to be recreating a look from a flawless foundation base video that was actually originated on TikTok by Shelby, which I will link that video, but I found this video through Risa Does Makeup here on YouTube. So I will link Risa's video and Risa's channel as well. She's an amazing makeup artist, YouTuber, and she recreated the TikTok video kind of using the exact same products minus one or two and recreated a beautiful flawless base. But I wanted to recreate that again using all cruelty-free and vegan products. Even in the original video, they're already all affordable products, so we get to do flawless foundation base using cruelty-free, vegan, and affordable makeup products. So if you want to see how it turns out, stay tuned. Now, I already did the skin prep off screen. I used a different toner and a moisturizer that I already had. I don't have all the exact products in the video, but let's use what we already have. Didn't want to buy anything new. And then I also wanted to use my e.l.f. Whoa Glow Sun Touchable Primer Sunscreen because I am going out today, so I want to have protected skin. So I primed with this already, and it is on and set up. I did my brows and eyes already, minus mascara, because Shelby does not do those in her video, nor does Risa. So we're just gonna do just the foundation and base makeup today. So now that we're prepped and primed, let's go ahead and get started with the foundation. Starting with the foundation, they used the L'Oreal True Match foundation. I am going to be using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation. It does have a similar serum-like consistency, and it's also cruelty-free and vegan, so we'll start with that. And I will be applying it with my BK Beauty 101 brush. Now, Shelby did apply her foundation squeezed right onto the face. Risa did not. She said she can't get on board with that. I feel like that sometimes gives you an uneven distribution of product, but of course it looks better when you're making a video. It's more engaging, right? So I will just be going off a palette onto my face. Now, I do have a video reviewing this Pretty Fresh foundation, so it is not my absolute favorite foundation. In fact, it's kind of just a not the best, not the worst, middle of the road foundation. It seems to be like there are a lot of those lately. But one of the things about the video that Risa mentioned is it is not necessarily suited to us dry skin people. So I'm not only redoing this look with cruelty-free and vegan products, I am also redoing this video with the dry skin people in mind. And so Risa had some suggestions on how to make it more dry skin friendly. In the original video, they used the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, but in Risa's video, she recommended the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer, which I happen to already have. This is in the shade 110 Nude Ivory, so I'm going to be working with this for us dry skin people today. I'm adding a little more concealer than I usually do because that is what the tutorial showed, and one of them is putting them under the contour line here, and I'm going to do that. I don't typically do that, but we're following the tutorial. We're going to see how it goes. So now I need to blend it out. And for that, I'll just be using my Angie BK Beauty A506 concealer brush and blending it out. Holy concealer, this is a lot for me. I'm gonna blend it out with the BK Beauty 101 foundation brush that I used just to kind of try to melt it all back together with my skin. I want it to look a little more cohesive than it is currently looking. You know, I will say with these videos, a lot of time they look great on camera, but in person, it looks like a lot of makeup. So we're gonna see today if this looks like a lot of makeup or if it just looks flawless in person versus on camera. And I am leaving after I finish filming this, so it better look good. Okay, at this point we're looking pretty good, a little heavy under the eyes, but let's go ahead and keep on going. I don't have the e.l.f. liquid bronzer contour that they used in the video. I'm going to be using the Essence Baby Got Bronze stick instead. This one I have used before, and it's, again, like not the worst, not the best, but let's just go ahead and use it. It will give us similar effects because they layer kind of cream liquid underneath and then put powder on top. This one is fairly lightly pigmented, but it still looks great. So we're going to start there and blend it out. And I'm going to use a Real Techniques sculpting brush to just blend it out. Again, this one's not super pigmented, so I am going to just do a little bit more to try to build up a little bit more color. Moving on to blush, they used a Milani cream blush in the original video. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. putty blush in the shade Turks and Caicos. This is already one of my favorite shades, favorite blushes, so we're just going to go ahead and apply this one. I'm blending it out with a BK Beauty 108 brush. Okay, we did the cream bronzer, the cream blush. Now I'm going to move on to the setting powder. I'm going to be using the About Face Curtain Call Loose Powder in the shade Finale, which is the pink version. I just recently did a video reviewing this, although I'm still testing it. I really like it so far. In the original video, Shelby used a Lottie London powder, which I couldn't find much information about. It's harder to find. Risa used an LA Girl powder. That one didn't seem to be in stock around, but I already have this one on hand anyway. It's a little bit more on the expensive side of these other affordable products, but so far I still think it's worth the price. It's Ulta, use a coupon, you know, you can get it on sale, but you get a generous heaping amount of powder in this one. I'm going to start by applying it with a puff, but I want to mention that Shelby did use her powder to bake, and for us dry skin people, baking is usually not our friend. So I'm just going to apply as much as I normally would apply and not bake it. I'm just going to use it to set all over, especially where we put our concealer. So make sure I get all those places, including underneath the contour on the face, which again, I don't usually put concealer here, but let's see how we do. So that was also one of Risa's suggestions from the video for dry skin people, was to not over apply the powder because, you know, that's the quickest way to look dry. So I didn't find that this powder is too drying or too heavy. You could use a brush to apply it to make it look even less heavy, but I feel like the puff, it works. It's not too heavy, and it gives us more of that flawless look that the video is going for. After setting it down with the powder, I'm going to take a big fluffy Real Techniques brush and just buff away any excess powder that did not get blended in to make sure it's not sitting heavy on the face, even though we didn't bake. And then we're gonna keep moving along. The next thing is the powder bronzer to top off that cream bronzer. I'm going to be using the NYX Buttermelt bronzer, and this is in the shade Butter Biscuit. These are highly pigmented, and I know some people love them, some people hate them. I personally love them, but you do have to go in with a light hand. So I am going to use this big fluffy brush to try to not over apply this one because it is so pigmented. The fluffy brush will help diffuse some of that color. And now this powder over the cream is really going to help marry all the products together and also really set everything in place. All right, it's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and continue on with the powder blush. I'm also going to be using the NYX Buttermelt blush, and this is in the shade For the Butter. And I am going to apply this one with a Real Techniques blush brush, and again trying to not go too heavy-handed because it is very pigmented. and I failed not going too heavy-handed, so we'll go back over it and remove some of it. And that is why some people hate these blushes, because they are so pigmented and it is hard to get the application just right the first time. But I appreciate how pigmented they are, because a lot of times with blush, I feel like I just keep putting more and more and more on and it just doesn't even show up or doesn't stay. So I do love these blushes. And they blend out, even if you apply too much, they blend out very nicely. There we go. Now it is looking so pretty. And onto the highlighter, I'm going to be using the W7 Bronze Brilliance Quad. And I'm just going to be using the, I don't know what shade it is, but it's the #1 shade up here. So we're going to use that on a Real Techniques brush to put a little highlighter up here, just as Shelby did. Okay, so this is the look. All we need to do is use our setting spray. I will be using the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Let me put on some mascara and I'll be right back. So here we have the finished look. What do you think? Does it look like a flawless foundation application to you? So it's cruelty-free, vegan, and made for dry skin. I have to admit, I think it looks pretty good on camera and pretty good in person. I will say the concealer was a little bit much for me. I would apply less in the future because it does bring out kind of the dryness in the skin, or maybe just use a little bit more of a hydrating concealer. But I think it looks pretty good. I want to know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. If you liked this video and you want more videos like this, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you all in another video very soon, but until then, take care of yourself.